Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar sharing more information about the Master of Management Studies in Global Business and Society here at the Yale School of Management. We're just going to give it a minute or two as participants continue to join. So while we're just getting started, we can give a brief introduction to ourselves, your presenters today, before we really get into this information session about the GBS program. So, my name is Evelyn Wilson. I'm the Senior Associate Director here at the Yale School of Management. I have been here for about 10 years, and I'm really excited to share more information today about the GBS program. And over to my colleague Matt to say hi as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Lasance. I'm the Assistant Director for Admissions. Excited to be here. I've been here about 3 years now, and excited to talk a little bit more about our GBS or our Masters in Global Business and Society program, and share a little bit more about the cohort and, your opportunities here at Yale SOM.
Great, thanks, Matt. So, as Matt mentioned, the Master of Management Studies in Global Business and Society, or the GBS program, is a one-year degree program here at the Yale School of Management, and it's designed to complement a Master in Management, or a MIM. And so all of our GBS students have recently completed or maybe working towards completing a MIM program. And we're going to get into the weeds of how you can do that or how you can apply for both programs a little bit later in this presentation. But just to give you a brief idea of where we're going to go today. We're going to talk a little bit about what the program is, why you might want to pursue the program, then dive a little bit more into the curriculum and opportunities available to you as a GBS student, then talk about the application itself, scholarship opportunities, and then leave some time at the end for questions. So if you do have questions today, please feel free to save them to the end when we'll open up the Q&A, and feel free to use the Q&A feature in this webinar to ask questions live at the end, and Matt and I will do our best to answer your questions today. So let's get started. What is the GBS program? As I mentioned, the GBS program is a one-year degree program that is very customizable. So you are really able to choose your own curriculum and choose the courses that you would like to take. Choose how you would like to spend your time here at Yale. You'll be joining a community of purpose, and we'll talk more specifically about this in a moment. But here at Yale, we are a very mission-driven institution, and our mission here is educating leaders for business and society. And that's something that we really take to heart and bring together a community who are really doing amazing things across all different disciplines and all fields. So, as a member of the GBS cohort, you will be joining that community of purpose and really working to improve both business and society through your studies and hopefully carry that into your career as well. You will also have access to all of the clubs, events, and speakers here at Yale and at SOM, and all the opportunities and privileges that come with being a Yale University student. Of course, that also includes the Yale University Network. So you will have access to all of our alumni and our career development opportunities and career development resources as well. So, why do students pursue the GBS? As I mentioned, this is a program that is designed to complement a MIM, a Master in Management degree, and to really elevate your learnings from that program and take them to the next level, to a global level. Our students really take advantage of two different opportunities. The first one, excuse me, is an extraordinary depth. So you are really able to take a deep dive into an area of focus or an area of interest that you might have. So an example of this might be healthcare management, organizational behavior, entrepreneurship, fintech, nonprofits, or economics, just to name a few. And the GBS really allows you to focus in on that subject area and basically become a leading industry expert yourself by learning from some of the field's greatest experts here at Yale University. On the other hand, you have the opportunity for extraordinary breadth. This program allows you to really explore new interest areas and opportunities that you might have always wanted to study, but not had the flexibility to do so in previous academic institutions, which might have had a more structured program that allowed less room for taking electives or taking courses just purely for interest. So, a couple of examples listed here might be art classes, taking classes at the School of Drama, environmental science, global affairs, music, history. You could learn a new language. The opportunities are really limitless. And as a GBS student, you are actually able to take courses across Yale University, not just at the Yale School of Management. So, again, you can learn from these leading industry experts by taking classes at the School of Art directly, at the law school, at the School of Drama. So it really allows you a fantastic opportunity to explore these interest areas that you might not have had the opportunity to do before. You could also do both. You could really focus in and take a deep dive in one specific area, and then also, take the opportunity to take a class or two in an area of interest that you've never had the opportunity to do before. So here we wanted to showcase the power of two. So through your MIM program and the Yale School of Management, you are really able to leverage 2 degrees and 2 networks, leveraging 2 brands across 2 countries, all within just 2 years. So the first year would be your MIM program, and we have partnerships with many different MIM schools, many of which are showcased here on the slide, but we also take students from all across the world, from MIM programs, from top business schools all around the world. So here you would build your business foundation knowledge through your MIM program. Then in your second year, you would come to the Yale School of Management and participate in the GBS program. And again, really leveraging the power of two. You'll be able to have both of these brands and networks behind you on your resume and helping you in your career search as you consider your next move. As I mentioned earlier, at the Yale School of Management, our mission really matters to us. Again, our mission is educating leaders for business and society. And so we're really aiming to develop leaders who are able to think critically about the big issues that business leaders are facing today and consider multiple perspectives in finding solutions to those issues. Again, we take this mission very seriously, and we're looking to bring together students who connect and who resonate with this mission. So we're bringing together students from all corners of the world, from all around the world, representing different business markets and different cultures, who are all doing really amazing work across all different disciplines and in every different field. So, once again, you'll be joining this community of purpose where students are really doing amazing work. And you'll be joining the staff and faculty who also deeply resonate with this mission and all together form this really powerful community of purpose. So on this slide, we wanted to give you a picture of who else you'll be joining at the Yale School of Management. So we have a portfolio of degree programs here at Yale SOM, and I'll just talk through each of them briefly because you will be in classes with all of these students. Electives are open to everybody. So you'll be sitting in classes with MBA students, Master of Advanced Management or MAM students, and other students in management master's programs. So we just thought this might be a helpful overview to kind of share who the rest of the students you'll be interacting with at SOM will be. So our largest program is our flagship MBA program. We enroll about 350 MBA students each year, and it's a 2 year program. So in any given year, there's about 700 MBA students on campus. Then we have our MBA for Executives program. This is a smaller cohort. There's generally about 75 students per cohort. Again, it's a 2 year degree program. And these MBA for Executive students are still working. This is a part-time program, and students come to campus for in-person classes about every 2 weeks. So the courses tend to run from about Thursday through Saturday every other week. And again, it's a 2 year program. The Master of Advanced Management program is a 1 year degree program, and it's designed to complement an MBA. So MAM students already have an MBA or are working towards an MBA. They generally have around 7 years of work experience, and so it's a little bit more of a mid-career program. But again, these students will be uh, in electives with you as well, and you'll be interacting with them just like other community members at SOM. Then we have a portfolio of master in management studies, including asset management, systemic risk, global business and society, which we're talking about today, technology management, and public education management. Um, in general, these tend to be more early career programs. Systemic risk and public education management might be the exceptions there. But in general, our MMS students tend to be earlier in their career with around 3 years of work experience, give or take. And so, uh, yeah, that's our Master in Management Studies portfolio. And then, of course, we have PhD students who will be on campus. Many of them are teaching assistants or research assistants. And so you may be interacting with them as well. Now I'm going to hand over to Matt to dive a little bit more into our curriculum.
Thanks, Evelyn. So yes, let's talk about the curriculum a little bit. So you have quite a flexible curriculum as a GBS student, and it's something that we're really excited about. It's something that really allows students to, as Evelyn mentioned, kind of dive into those things, have that depth of specific courses or areas that they want to study, or really have that breadth across Yale. So you have one required course that every GBS student will take, which is Business and Government After Communism. It's a 2 credit course. And then you have 16 units of advanced management courses. And you can see some of the courses that are being offered this year on the right side there. Those will make up 16 units, so that makes up half of your curriculum. The really neat part of this is the other half of your curriculum is completely customizable by you. You do have to take a minimum of 18 credits per term, so just keep that in mind. But the really neat piece of this is you have all of the flexibility in the world to design a curriculum that excites you, that is going to help you and is going to build those skills for your next career step. And you really have a great opportunity to choose from more than 170 elective courses offered by Yale SOM. And on top of that, the opportunity to take classes across Yale University at the 12 other professional schools and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. This amounts to well over 1,000 different course offerings that you can kind of pick and choose from. So it's definitely going to have something for everyone. It's something that when, you're doing this, I think the best way to think about your application or to kind of think about is this program for you, take a look at our elective course list online. You can find the courses both at Yale SOM and across Yale. Take a look and see if you can create sort of a one term, 18 credit, selection of courses and see if there are courses that you truly feel are going to help you. I think it's tough not to find some with the amount of courses offered, but it's a really amazing opportunity for students to design a curriculum that suits their needs and wants. Now, with that, one of the other things that students can take advantage of if they'd like, we do also offer a management science major to kind of go along with the GBS degree. This is for students that are passionate or interested in a STEM career after. And it's something that can potentially help. Normally, you get 1 year of OPT. If you take this and successfully complete this major, you could potentially qualify for an additional 2 year STEM extension. It's not guaranteed, and it's sort of the first step in the process, but it is something to think about. What students do, you've got your normal, 16 credits of advanced management courses, your business and government after communism. It does take away from the flexibility of your curriculum a little bit, because 16 units are now going to go towards management science major courses. You do still have 26 different elective options, so you have a lot of options still within this area, but unfortunately, it does kind of cut that down. You still have the opportunity, though, to take classes outside SOM, at least 2 units of elective courses. And you can always, do a little bit more if you want to, but keep in mind work-life balance is important. This is definitely an option for students interested in STEM, as I mentioned. But I do want to note, if you're not thinking about a STEM career afterwards, it may be worthwhile to say, pass on this. You can still take those STEM courses though. So if you were interested in, game theory, let's say, but you didn't want to do the management science major, you can absolutely, take game theory and have that go towards your degree, and you would be totally fine. So definitely consider that when, you're going through and thinking about adding this major to your degree. Now, we're talking a lot about courses. What does your schedule look like on a week-to-week basis? And this is just kind of a rough outline of one of our students, so everyone's is going to look a little different. But classes are either 1 or 2 days a week. Usually they'll go for about an hour to an hour and a half if they're 2 days a week, and a little bit closer to 3 hours if they are once a week. Those courses are going to be Monday through Thursday, so you might have Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or Tuesday, Thursday. But you have Monday through Thursday classes, with Friday being kind of a dedicated career day. So we offer a lot of different career services. We'll dive into that a bit more. So as you can see, maybe you are going to a workshop with our career services. Maybe you saw that we have some interviewers and recruiters on campus, and you're going to do interviews with them. Or maybe even you're going to do mock interviews with one of our career coaches. It's a great opportunity to really work on those skills during the year to really set yourself up for recruiting season and for those first job applications. On top of that, you are definitely going to have some meetings, whether that be with the professor, maybe with a group. We love putting our students in group settings and kind of having you work together with not just your GBS cohort, but with students from across Yale, as Evelyn mentioned. And then, of course, club meetings. We'll definitely talk a little bit about clubs. Hopefully, you join at least 1 or 2 clubs while you're here, and you get to be a part of some club meetings and some really fun events and activities that they put together. And then, of course, one of the ones that I think is the most important is make sure you schedule in personal time. Not just for lunch, you want to make sure you're fueled up, or maybe taking yoga in the morning to start your day off in a very relaxing way. But make sure you take time to get to know other people. So I know our GBS cohort is very connected. They love getting together for dinner, to go out and hang out in town. So they do dinners oftentimes on Monday nights right now, but definitely take time to get to know your cohort, get to know the people around you. They're going to be great connections for life, and definitely while you're here. And then one other key thing, we put play at the Repertory Theater maybe, but there are so many things across Yale, museums, art galleries. I know we've got a few other spots on campus that are well worth taking in. And we'll show some of those in just a minute. And then, of course, some of the sporting events. Take time to really, take a moment and appreciate where you are and the opportunity you have at Yale, and take it all in. There's hundreds of years of history and knowledge here that I think, everyone should really, enjoy. And it flies by, as I think you're going to see on our next, in one of our next slides. It goes by very quickly. So make time to enjoy and appreciate the moments while you're here at Yale. We're talking about course selection. I thought it'd be helpful. Maybe we show a couple students and kind of what they did while they were here. And so this is based on some of our students from this past year. So some courses may have changed a little bit, but as you can see, all of them took business and government after communism. But then, really interestingly, you're going to see with Andrea, you're going to see a little bit more broad schedule. So she has her advanced management courses, and then took a number of different electives sort of across SOM, and healthcare leadership, global virtual teams, class and entrepreneurship in the art market. Definitely looks a little bit entrepreneurial, but went a little bit broader with some items. Then she also took a few classes at the School of Drama, as well as a French class and a Chinese cinema class. Very interesting courses outside of SOM. As we mentioned, you can really create a curriculum that is set up for you. Same thing, David. He went a little bit deeper. He has his management courses, but then he kind of dove into a little bit of that digital strategy, game theory, games and information, some of those types of courses, and kind of strategy based stuff. And then a lot of stuff on being a leader, I would say, managing groups and teams, everyday leadership, Mastery and Influence and Persuasion. Really great classes to kind of become a better leader and become a better manager, I think, down the line. So, really great to see that. And then Jade, who is actually a STEM student, she did her business and government after communism, took her advanced management courses and some electives. She also has her STEM courses, as you can see in green. She actually had more than enough time too to add in a French class, a humanities class, and a law class. And I think just to give you an idea, David did not do the STEM major, but he took several STEM eligible courses. So just want to show you a little bit of the flexibility. All of these are GBS students at the end of the day, but they all took their own separate pathways that were what they felt they needed to be set up for success. As I mentioned, the academic calendar. We kicked off in early mid-August. On August 11th, we started our mandatory orientation for 2 weeks, and then classes started on August 27th. We have flown through the fall, it feels like. We had Global Network Week in October. We already had our November recess, and we're heading into winter recess. I know all of our students are working hard on exams and whatnot right now, and excited for a bit of a break. And then about a month later, in early January, spring classes will kick off. We'll have Global Network Week, which very fun opportunity for students to get to travel and experience learning at another school around the world. And then commencement comes up very quickly. And as quick as this looks, I think if you ask a lot of our students, they would say it can go by in the blink of an eye. So definitely make the most of your opportunity and your time while you're at Yale. No, what does our class look like or our cohort look like? So this year's cohort is 77 different students who got their MIM degrees from all around the world, 8 schools in particular from around the world. They come to us with an average of about 14 months of work experience, some a little bit more, some a little bit less. So don't look at that as like that's the minimum. The average age was 24 years old. Super exciting, 48% women. We love to see that. And then I think just some fun facts that kind of go along with this to show how global this cohort is. 97% are international passport holders, and they come from 20 different countries of citizenship all around the world. So 1 in 4 students is from somewhere else in the world, really. And I think when you dive into or learn about their work experience and their educational backgrounds and even just the traveling that they've done and all of that, it's unbelievable to see how much global experience and knowledge these students truly have. And I think it's really cool to see just how global of thinkers they are. So we're talking a lot about the community. There's a lot of different events, activities, things going on campus. We love bringing in speakers. I think it's one of our favorite things, getting to have discussions, whether they be easy discussions or hard discussions. We want to be at the forefront of that and trying to have conversations with leaders who are changing the world today, tomorrow, and for the future. So we've had speakers like Janet Yellen, who's the Secretary of the Treasury. We had Stella McCartney, who's a world-renowned fashion designer. We had the president of Ghana actually came and spoke with our students, and at the time we had a student from Ghana, which was unbelievable for her to have the opportunity to meet the president of her country. So we bring in these leaders who are really making changes and doing things all around the globe, which is really, really cool to see. A lot of different sporting events and activities on campus. The Yale Harvard football game is always a big one. Um, if you look close enough, you might catch one of your SOM admissions crew there. So it's a very fun event. It's a great opportunity to connect with other students, just have a really fun time and get out there and enjoy some football. Of course, we've got a lot of different events and conferences that are a little bit more professional. We've got Fempire, which is our female empowerment and female management event, and they bring some amazing leaders and amazing women to talk with our students. A lot of different conferences going on, AI, sustainability, philanthropy, all of those sorts of things. I think there's a conference for everybody. So definitely check out a lot of those events and conferences. See if there's something that maybe you want to get involved with while you're here. We love hearing about that in the application. And then I know a lot of our students love talking about the professors in a very professional sense. I think when you get to really dig in, you find out that they aren't just really cool and really interesting and really smart professionally, but they also have some really amazing talents, as well as a lot of our students. They are very talented people. Definitely have to check that out. And then the S1 Club Fair. We've got, I believe it's more than 60 different clubs right now that are officially recognized. And I always recommend join one professional club, join one more personal fun club. Take that opportunity to get to know people, get to meet people. And it's really nice. This isn't a competition to join the clubs or anything. It's a great opportunity that they want people to come in. They want people to join, share their insights, share their knowledge and expertise, and even just come in and ask questions and learn more. So definitely don't be shy if you have the opportunity. Enjoy that club fair, get to know people, and have some fun. And as I mentioned, take in Yale. I think there's so much to see and do. These are just a couple images and a couple places on campus that we recommend checking out if you have the opportunity to stop by or even join us as a student. The Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, it's one of my favorites. I tell everybody who's visiting that's the place to go. Over 1.5 million different manuscripts, books, documents, artifacts. Just an unbelievable place. The history that is held in that building, I mean, wow, it's unbelievable. The Yale Art Gallery, amazing pieces from you name it. They've got all the big artists and whatnot. And a fun fact I found out was they actually have one of the largest, if not the largest, coin collection for any university, which I think is really cool. That art really transcends not just, paintings and whatnot, but sculptures to coins to even more. The Yale farm, really, really neat. I don't think a lot of schools can claim that they have a farm on campus. And then, of course, you're going to see it in the background of the Yale Courtyard photo, but Sterling Memorial Library, I think another amazing place to check out. Just get a little glimpse of, what life is like for students, where they're studying, and you think about who's been in that library studying, who's been, on that courtyard, maybe throwing a football around or hanging with friends. It's really cool to think about and just put yourself in their shoes for a minute. And then, of course, careers. I know this is always a big one, and I promised we'd talk about it. So, a lot of different career resources. We have a great career development team that works directly with our students. They have one-on-one sessions, but they also host workshops on effective resume writing, cover letters, mock interviews, crafting and telling your story. That's a big one, especially with this program. And they do a lot of on-campus recruiting. They've got employment databases. They're constantly talking with employers to figure out what are the needs of, companies and businesses all around the world. And they really try to work on an individualized base if you allow them to. Make sure you take that opportunity to connect with them and have a one-on-one session. And we have students that, they end up in some of the big ones lately have been technology, government consulting, and they really end up all around the world, which I think is really unique. With such a diverse group from 20 different countries this year, it's really cool to see students end up in Africa, Asia, North America, South America, and end up at, amazing companies like BCG, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, to name a few. So definitely take advantage of it if you have the opportunity. There's a lot there, a lot of resources for our students. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Evelyn to talk a little bit more about the application and the pathways to SOM.
Great. Thank you, Matt. So hopefully now are interested in applying. And so we definitely want to kind of share some more information about how you can do that. And the first step to thinking about that is thinking about when is the right time for you to apply. And so we wanted to share that there are a couple of different pathways into the GBS program. Both will bring you to the same program, the GBS program at Yale SOM, but the path that's right for you will depend on where you currently are in your academic journey. And so here we have kind of three different buckets of where students might be. The first of which is if you are thinking about applying to a MIM program. And if that is where you currently are, then you could actually fill in the GBS application while you are applying to a MIM program. We have partnership programs with several different schools, as you can see listed here. Um, our M2M pathway with HSA in Paris, HKUST in Hong Kong, and UBC Sauder in Vancouver. So those three partnership schools are our M2M pathway, and then we have 1+1s with Bocconi, ESA, ESSEC, and San Andres. And so all of those partnership schools, you can actually apply to the GBS program at the same time as you're applying to your MIM program. What that will mean is beginning your application with the year one school, the MIM school, and letting that school know that you are interested in this partnership program with the Yale School of Management. We will then work closely with the MIM admissions team at the year one school and coordinate a little bit. You will still need to fill in some information with our GBS program. Um, we'll be in touch with you directly to request that information. And then we will actually review your application at the same time as your MIM application is being reviewed. And you will receive admissions decisions from both schools independently, but in the same admissions year. So you'll know right up front your pathway for both years, your MIM and your GBS program, if you apply through this pathway. Next, if you are currently enrolled in a MIM or you have already graduated from a MIM program, you can still apply to the GBS program. You just apply directly. And so, of course, you just go to our website. It's an online application. I'm going to talk through the application more specifically next. But both of these pathways will lead you to the GBS program. It doesn't matter to us how you get here. We just want to bring together the best and the brightest students from business schools all around the world. And so, again, which of these pathways is right for you really depends on where you currently are in your academic journey, whether you have started or already completed a MIM, or whether you haven't quite got there yet and you're still shopping around and looking at different schools. Um, so I just also want to note that even though we have these partnership schools that you can apply to your MIM and the GBS at the same time, these are not the only schools that you could go to for your MIM program in order to be eligible for the GBS. You can take your MIM from any school as long as you have completed a MIM or are working towards completing a MIM. If we have a partnership with that school, you would be eligible for the GBS program. So let's talk more in depth about the application itself. So we have several requirements of the application, which are listed here. The first is transcripts. So we will want to see your transcripts from your MIM program if you have started already, or if you have completed your MIM program, we'd like to see those grades. We'll also look at your undergrad transcript, and we'd like to see transcripts from any degree granting institution that you have attended. So if you have transfer credits, or if you have done a study abroad or an exchange program, we'd like to see transcripts from all of those institutions. We'd also like to see a resume. Please keep it short, 1 to 2 pages maximum is great. And so we can see your work experience and kind of what's led you up to where you currently are today. We require a GMAT or a GRE test score. Unfortunately, this cannot be waived. We sometimes get asked that question. We do require one of these standardized test scores. There is no minimum score required to apply. So yeah, we will take the GMAT Focus as well as the GRE or an older version of the GMAT before the Focus version was rolled out. But you will need to submit a GMAT or a GRE test score. We require 2 letters of recommendation. The first one is from a professional source. So somebody that you have worked with recently in a recent internship. It could be a direct supervisor, it could be a colleague or somebody that you worked closely with who can really share what it was like to work with you in a professional setting. The letter of recommendation has to be submitted directly from your recommender and from their professional email address. So we don't accept Gmail or Hotmail or QQ or any personal email addresses. It has to come directly from your recommender from their professional email address. The second letter of recommendation would come from the dean or director of your MIM program. So, of course, if you are applying through that early pathway, We would waive this letter of support because we know you haven't begun your MIM program yet. But if you have begun or have already completed your MIM program, then you will need to submit a letter of recommendation from the dean or director of your MIM program as well. We then have some short essays that are part of our application. I think it's four this year. One of them is only about 50 words long, and the others are only about 250 to 300 words. So they're very short essays, but just helps us give a clearer idea of you as an applicant, what your goals are, and your motivations for undertaking the program. There are also three video questions that are part of our application. These are meant to be fun. They're really an opportunity for us to get to know you better as a candidate and for you to come alive off of the page. And again, for us to kind of get to know you better and get to know how you think as an applicant as well. There are no right or wrong answers to the video questions, and they take about 10 minutes to complete. You also will get the link to submit your video questions about 24 hours after you have submitted your application and paid the $95 application fee. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about the timeline for your application. You'll need a little bit of extra time to receive your video question link and get those recorded as well. Then, if you make it to the next stage of the application, you will be invited to interview. All of our interviews happen over Zoom remotely. There's no need to travel to New Haven at any time. Um, and then after our interview rounds, then we'll be releasing decisions. So our application is now open. As I mentioned, it's an online application, so you can find it right on our website. Our round one deadline has already passed. Round one is reserved exclusively for our global network for advanced management partner schools or alumni who have attended those schools. But rounds two, three, and four are open to everybody. So both Global Network for Advanced Management students and alumni, as well as candidates who attended any MIM school from around the world. So our next deadline coming up is early January, January 2nd, and then we have a round three deadline in February and a round four deadline in March. So let's talk a bit about scholarships. I saw that we got some pre-submitted questions about these scholarships as well, so definitely want to make sure that we cover this today. All of our admitted students are automatically considered for merit scholarships. There's no need to submit any additional documentation. Everything that we need to assess your merit will be right within your application. Merit scholarships generally range from around 10,000 to 45,000 US dollars, so we do not offer full tuition scholarships. You will need to have a plan to pay for some of the program yourself, but we do work with international student loan providers. So if you still have a funding gap after you have received your merit scholarship, you can feel free to reach out to us, to our financial aid team, and we can connect you with our student loan providers who would be happy to help fund the remainder of the program with you. We also recommend that students look for local scholarships from your home country. There are often other opportunities for students to find scholarships outside of the Yale GBS program. We also do have on-campus student employment opportunities. Bear in mind that students on an F1 visa do have uh, a a certain number of hours that you are allowed to work under your visa. So this is not going to be something that's going to pay your tuition, but it can certainly be helpful for your living expenses or for earning some pocket money while you are here. So hopefully that gives you a sense of what our scholarship landscape looks like, and that all of our admitted students are automatically considered for merit scholarship. Okay, now we have a couple of QR codes to share with you. The one here on the left will take you to our website, which includes lots more information about the GBS program. And the one on the right will take you to our events page. We did want to call out a couple of events coming up, and we'd love to see you again, have you back if you have more questions or information that you'd like to gather. So our next event is actually coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. This is one of our small group Q&A sessions, and then I see we have the next one in early January listed on here as well. So these Q&A sessions are actually really great. We just started them last year and they've been so popular. We hold them monthly and they're small group sessions where we encourage candidates to turn on your camera and ask us questions live. Any questions that you would like about the application, the program, life in New Haven, really anything you'd like to ask. Our members of the admissions committee kind of take turns hosting the sessions each month. So it's a great opportunity to connect with one of our admissions committee members and ask any questions you might have. Then we also have listed here our upcoming application tips webinar. It's right before our application deadline. So our webinar will be on January 7th and our deadline is on January 12th. So a great opportunity to join, get any last minute advice or tips to really polish up your application before hitting submit in early January. And so with that, I'd love to open it up to Q&A. If you have any questions that we haven't answered today, please feel free to enter them into the Q&A section in the webinar, and Matt and I will take some time now to answer live. And I will also ask our colleague Elena, who is working the magic behind the scenes. Oh, I think she's already done it. Thanks, Elena. Posting our brochure in the chat for you. So feel free to download that, and that will include some more information for you as well. But with that, let's open up the Q&A. So it looks like we have a question about the GRE and whether we would accept an at-home test. The answer is yes. We would accept any GRE or GMAT test that is taken through the official means, through the official website of GMAC or the GRE. And yeah, as long as it's an official test, an official test score, we would absolutely accept that. And thanks. And do we offer application fee waivers? We do not offer application fee waivers at this time. It's $95 application fee, US dollar application fee. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't offer an application fee waiver.
Just to add to that, we also don't have a GMAT or GRE waiver. I know that's usually a follow-up question, so just wanted to make sure that's out there.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Good point. Um, I saw we had a pre-submitted question about kind of ways to stand out in the application and how to put forward kind of your best application and be a strong applicant. Matt, do you want to kind of speak to that a little bit?
So I'm happy to. I think some of the best applications, people have done their research or done their homework. Um, this is definitely a specialized program. You have a master's degree. In many cases, you have a master's degree. In some cases, you're looking to get your master's, but this is sort of a second one on top of that. So really thinking about why you want to do this program. How can Yale help you take that next step in your career? So maybe you've gone to your MIM school. What did you get there, but what did you not get? Or what were you missing? Or what did you want to do that you didn't do that Yale offers? And how can that help you? With that, I think talking to some of our students, we've got some great admissions ambassadors this year on our website. Reach out to them, ask them questions about the program, what they're doing. And while you're doing that, go to our website and take a look at some of the electives and course offerings. Like I said, try to build, a one-term schedule, or try to look into courses and see what courses are being offered that interest you. I think as you do all of that research, it's going to make the application a whole lot easier because when we ask the question of, well, why do you want to do this program and what does Yale offer? Not only are you going to be able to answer it, but you're going to be able to answer it by saying, these specific classes are going to help me in these areas. By joining this club, I'm going to get this opportunity. And you're going to be able to really dive into it in a way that shows a lot of research and can show us how you're going from where you are now, point A, to how you're going to get to, that future career that you want, point B. And kind of showing us that pathway through Yale and one of our partner schools if you're choosing that way. And I think the other thing I would add, be authentic. Don't just answer questions in a way that you think Yale wants you to answer them just because. Answer the questions. Obviously, this is a Yale application, keep that in mind, but answer the questions authentically and honestly. We want to get to know you. We want to hear from you. We want to know why you want why you truly want this program and how it's going to help you. not just that, you loved Yale, you saw it growing up, and, this is the perfect school for you. We really want to know, what does Yale offer and how can it help? Is there anything I might have missed or anything you want to add, Evelyn?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. No, I think that was great. I would add one other quick note, and this kind of answers the question that Thomas just entered in the Q&A as well. So thanks for your question, Thomas. Thomas is asking about how heavily the GMAT or the GRE score is weighed in the application. And so what I would say to that is it is one element of the application, but we take a very holistic view when we read applications. And so we're really looking for well-rounded candidates who, of course, are, have academic excellence and the GMAT or the GRE, as well as your grades, so both from your MIM and from your undergrad institution, are the ways that we are going to be able to measure your academic history and also potential for success in our program. And so that is one element that we take into consideration of your application, but it's not the only thing. It's not going to make or break your application. We're also looking at your leadership experience or your leadership potential, your career goals, your connection to our mission. Remember, that's something that I mentioned is really important to us as well. Your involvement in the communities that you have been around and connected with. Your international kind of exposure or experience or mindset, or, those are all things that can help to make you stand out as an applicant to the GBS program. And so, while the GMAT and the GRE test score is definitely something that's important, it's only one element of many that the admissions committee is weighing up as we're reviewing your application as a whole. So hopefully that helps provide a little bit more insight into how we're looking at the test score or really to any one element of your application. All right, now I see we have another question here about a language certificate. Matt, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so we don't ask for a language certificate or any sort of language test. Part of the application, as we read your essays and listen to your video questions and whatnot, we're going to be kind of assessing English and all of that right there. But we also know that English is, for most of our students, not their native language or first language. Fun fact, I think a majority of our students, almost every student, I believe, speaks two languages or more. And I know there's a number of them that speak three or more, which is crazy. But we don't ask for a language certificate or anything like that. We kind of assess that through the process and whatnot.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. Great. I don't see any other submitted questions at this moment. So I think we'll stick on for another couple of minutes in case there are any other questions that folks have out there. But in the meantime, we'd love to encourage you to reach out to us anytime if you have more questions. Our email address is on the screen, gbs@yale.edu. We always love hearing from prospective students or candidates. We're happy to answer questions over email about the application or about the program or again, anything at all. And we really encourage you to join our upcoming sessions. Again, we have our next two Q&A sessions listed here on the screen in, well, this coming Thursday and then in early January. Um, Shout out for about our application tips webinar coming up in early January as well. And if you visit our website, we have a couple of great recordings. We just hosted an alumni panel webinar, which was a really fantastic session with three of our most recent alums, kind of sharing how the GBS program helped them in their career and where they've ended up now and kind of what their path has looked like so far. So recommend watching that recording as well. You can find that right on our website. So I don't, oh, I do see one other question that just came in. Let's see. I have a question about the M2M pathway for applicants who are interested in the HSA Yale M2M. Do we need to apply through HSA first? Yes, this is a great question. So for candidates who are applying through our M2M pathway, you do apply to the year one school first. So for this applicant, yes, you would apply to HSA first, and you do not need to submit an additional GBS application. HSA will get in touch with us and let us know that you have submitted and that you are interested in the M2M pathway. And we will coordinate with them then we will reach out to you directly to request some additional materials and additional documentation, but you do not need to start and submit a separate GBS application. So the steps for you would be to apply to HSA first, indicate your interest in the M2M with Yale, and then wait to hear from us. See, we have another question that came in as well. Do you want to take this one, Matt, about entrepreneurship?
Sure. So, uh, we do have a number of students that focus on or look into entrepreneurship and kind of look to go down that route. But it's not mentioned as much with the jobs after graduation. Specifically, I think they're referring to our slide on careers. And it's something that isn't always for everyone, but also we do have a number of students. I think I know from 2 years. I think it was 2 years ago. Time's flying, but I think it was 2 years ago. We had a few students that started up sort of an AI venture, and that kind of gets funneled under or put into the bucket under technology. So when you don't see entrepreneurship there, oftentimes that gets siloed into the specific buckets. If someone starts like an NGO or they're working a nonprofit, that could potentially fall under I forget what the other like government or like under one of those buckets. So oftentimes you may not see that. But we do also have, I would say, fewer students that go directly into entrepreneurship versus going into some other type of employment first. And then down the line, they're doing that on the side and then they want to make that their full-time job.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thanks, Matt. I think I fully agree. I think that there are students, entrepreneurship is a really popular topic and subject that lots of students like to pursue while they're here. And so there's definitely a really robust entrepreneurial climate and environment here at Yale. And I think many students like to kind of go into um, kind of more like they don't pursue fully their entrepreneurial venture right away after graduation. Some do. We definitely have some who, may already have startups that they're working on before they get here, and then they kind of use their time in the program to fine-tune their startup. Um, and then are able to launch it on a bigger scale after the program finishes. But others may kind of choose to continue working on their venture at the same time as gaining experience kind of in another field or growing their network in any given field before then turning to their entrepreneurial venture a little bit more um, fully, maybe a few years post graduation. So hopefully that helps. But also, if you'd like to reach out to us for more information or to be connected with an alum who pursued an entrepreneurial path, feel free to do that as well. I see we had another couple of questions come in, which is great. I'm glad you're thinking of your questions here before we sign off. So another question about the HSA M2M. If you are admitted to the M2M pathway with HSA or to any of the M2M schools, after completing the first year, is admission to Yale guaranteed, or would there be a separate application required? So yes, if you are admitted through the HSA M2M or through any of those partner schools that I mentioned earlier with a 1+1, where you can apply to the GBS at the same time as your MIM program school, then if you've been accepted, then you've already been accepted into the GBS program. So you don't need to apply again. Your admission is guaranteed to the GBS program at that time. There is a possibility if you apply M2M or to, again, any of those partner schools that we have a 1+1 or kind of early admissions pathway with, you could apply and get accepted to your MIM program and apply and not get into the GBS program. That is a possibility. Then you could always apply again to the GBS program once you've begun your MIM program. So there is definitely an opportunity there, even if you don't gain admission to the GBS program through early application with a 1+1 or the M2M, you can always apply again later and gain admission at that time as well. Okay, let's see.
Um, I can take this one quickly and then I'll jump back up. There
Yeah,
is
sure.
no minimum GMAT or GRE score. Do the best you can. Obviously, with grades, if grades are a little lower, a higher test score can offset. But there is no minimum score. We want, if you did your best job and you're putting your best application forward, then we're going to take a look. But do your best on it. And if you feel like, hey, it's maybe a little bit lower than you want, retake it, wait to submit. That's okay if you wait a little bit longer to submit, if it means submitting an even better application. And then someone had asked about sort of citizenship and if it's an advantage or disadvantage. Honestly, I would say it doesn't really make too much of an impact when it comes to admissions. We're focused on what is your reasoning for being here. Obviously, we want to know that you can do the work. So grades are one component, but just because you have perfect grades and a perfect test score, that doesn't guarantee you admission if you don't have a reason to be here. We want people that can do the work and have shown that they see a pathway through Yale that's going to allow them to make an impact in business and society and help them in their future career afterwards. So I think, I would say there are advantages and disadvantages post GBS program for citizenship, depending on if you're looking at jobs and things. But when it comes to the application process, there really isn't an advantage or disadvantage to come from one place or another.
Yeah, I can add to that. Thanks, Matt. I think that's great. And this person specifically is asking about American citizenship and whether that has an advantage or not. And the only advantage I would say is that you don't have to go through a visa process. So, it's not so much an advantage in terms of being eligible or getting into the program. As Matt was mentioning, there are lots of things that we consider in our holistic review of an application, but citizenship isn't one that um, we carefully consider. But the advantage of being an American citizen would be that you don't have to get a visa before you could join the program. And that would just save you a step. But as you've seen from our class profile, we have a very international class, and so most of our students are international passport holders. Many of them are dual citizens. So there may be others as well that hold kind of a dual citizenship with the U.S. and another country. Of course, it's also fine if you are an American citizen or don't hold a dual citizenship as well. The program is open to everyone. And we welcome all citizenships and all nationalities into the program. So another question came in about is it possible to create a new club or association in your year at Yale? So first of all, I would reiterate what Matt mentioned that there are so many clubs already available here at SOM, I think over 60 right now. And you also will have the ability to join clubs and associations outside of SOM, but within Yale as well. So there are lots of already existing clubs and opportunities for you to get involved with student associations as well. There is a process at SOM for students to create a new club or association, but it's quite a lengthy process. And so generally, you would kind of put a proposal together, take it to our academic affairs and student life team, and kind of share your vision for it. But it's not possible to do within a single year. So you first would kind of have to show that there is interest among the student body and that there is a gap. That is not already being filled by one of the other kind of already existing student clubs. And then, uh, if that is approved by the administration team, then you would kind of have to bring together um, a group of students, and first it would have to live as an association under an already existing club. So that would have to happen for at least 1 year, if not a couple of years, to kind of show that there is enough interest and enough momentum to kind of move this new club forward, and that leadership is going to sustain from year to year. So it is possible to create new clubs, yes, but it's not something that's really quick to do, so it wouldn't be something that you'd be able to kind of like start and finish within your 1 year program at Yale. So hopefully that helps. But again, there's lots of opportunities to join clubs that are already existing both within SOM and beyond at Yale. And with that, I think that takes us almost right up to the end of our hour together. So thank you all so much for joining us today. We've had lots of great engagement, lots of great questions from you all today. Again, if you have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email address is here on the screen, gbs@yale.edu, and we would love to hear from you soon. Thank you so much for joining us today.